But how close are these sci-fi stories to reality? Can we call this predictive programming? And just have you notice that these are the SG-1 characters. This is the Obama administration. Can you tell me the difference? Okay? Yeah, we got we got Biden, who fits in the Obama bin Biden story there. And we've got Bernanke, the guy who forced them to sign the 1013 document. Right? We've got the governor of Alaska, who's in charge of the HARP facility. And, of course, the Secretary of State, who's trying to push for UFO disclosure. And we've got our nemesis, who in the Stargate trilogy or Stargate story of Stargate Atlantis is known as Apophis. Okay? So, how close is this to reality? Apophis is the ancient Egyptian Satan. He is the serpent dark lord that tries to eat raw every night. He is the great lord of evil. He is Satan. He is the original Satan because Akhenaten created the original monotheism. So you have the cult of Aten, which is the sun god, the one and true god. If you watch Battlestar Galactica, that's the Cylon's god. And then you've got the adversary, the satanic force, which he calls Apophis. Well, it was originally Apep in Egypt, but in Greek it's Apophis, which is the character on Stargate 1. This was all begun by Akhenaten. He began this first monotheistic religion. So now I've got Obama connected to Apophis, and I'm looking at a space war coming. I'm watching as I'm telling people they're going to use meteors. They're going to use meteors to bring about the weaponization of space. I was discussing this in January. In March, a meteor almost hit the planet. March 2nd. It was noticed 3 days prior to its possible impact. It did not impact the planet. But just as Werner von Braun had been saying, and just as I had been saying, all of a sudden it was big news. All of a sudden we needed to come up with an agenda, an idea of a way to combat the coming problem. So there is a Space Command, there is a United States Space Force. They have been in existence for a long, long time. You can find space battle labs and all of this as they're getting ready for the weaponization of space. Okay, so we have this asteroid come in, and they say, oh, well, now we got to deal with this threat. We've got a big problem. We're having an issue, and we need to deal with it. And there are now two fighting factions on determining how to stop Apophis from hitting planet Earth. So as I'm tracking asteroids, and I'm tracking Obama and the coupling of the space-based weaponry and the use of asteroids to further the weaponization of space, and all of a sudden they announce, well, we have this big problem we're going to couple with the Russia-China Space Force to conquer Apophis, which just happened to be Akhenaten's Satan, the spirit of evil and destruction. And it came from a group of asteroids known as the Aten.
So that means we're not going to all die in 2012 because they had to save us so we can die.
Yeah, in 2019. Actually, or 2029 is when it comes, and it will arrive on Friday the 13th, 2029. And so right now they're getting ready, and they're trying to figure out what they're going to do about Apophis and how they're going to coordinate the efforts of the world to save us from this coming threat. And so Jet Propulsion Laboratories is saying, well, we need to nuke it. We need to nuke it. And the other astronauts in the ASC, this Astronomical Society, they're saying, no, we have technology that can nudge that thing out of the way. There's no need to nuke it. And they're all going, you're crazy. We need to nuke it. We need to get weapons in space. So in trying to understand the Obama's bloodline, I was trying to put this piece together, and there were some weird symbolic gestures. Now, the Queen came up and put her arm around Michelle Obama during the G20 meeting when they met at the palace. This has never happened before. The Queen does not touch people, and nobody touches the Queen. They're God. You're not allowed to touch them. But the Queen initiated the contact. She put her arm around Michelle. Well, this seemed to fall right into my theories, because as I began to look into this study, Let's take this slow for a second. All right, stop. Let's consider this for a minute.
Great music.
Thank you. That's a friend of mine that does that. I have known all my life that there was more on planet Earth, that there was more going on, that there were ancient civilizations such as Atlantis and Lemuria that only the Freemasons write about. If you want to find out about Atlantis or Lemuria, you got to go to a Freemasonic author. You're just not going to find any information because this is their history, this is their religion, this is why they are so interested in a man writing about fish people from Sirius. The Masons... Well, when you understand the ancient civilization and the height of the technological advancements that they had, then you'll find out that mummification has some strange property that we have not been able to reproduce. Mummification saves a viable cell for cloning. And all my life, all my days, I knew this because I studied ancient astronauts and I believe in these ancient high technologies. And I knew there was something mysterious, and even Time Warner told me that they could clone mummies. Sure enough, they did. In 1985, a mummy was cloned. All right. So the fact that we can clone or that mummies can be cloned, but at the same time, when we try to clone or try to mummify, our mummies rot. We don't know the technology of the ancient Egyptians. We don't understand how it's possible to clone a mummy or to make a mummy. So Lenin is rotting right now in the square, and they're having a big hoopla as to whether or not to actually bury him because he's an icon of Russia. So that's going on right as we speak, and they're trying to decide whether or not to bury him. It is entirely possible that you can clone a mummy, and this particular bloodline of mummy seems to be very interesting and intriguing. Once you realize, okay, so the titles that the Secret Service gave the first family, renegade, okay, the definition of renegade, to turn on your people, to turn on your friends, to be an apostate, to be a backstabber. This is what renegade is, the definition. Then we find Michelle Obama. Now, look at this. Okay, I did not manipulate that photo one bit. That is her high school image. This is the same woman, Queen T, that I'm discussing. And so I'm going to leave you with the concept that perhaps our leaders have cloned this ancient bloodline of mummies, of pharaonic bloodline, and brought them back to life as our first family.